my good friend, Dr. Tony Alessandra.
Thank you. Thank you. So, let's talk about targeting loyal customers. How many of you are familiar with Pareto's principle? Pareto's principle. Most people should be familiar with it. It's the famous 80-20 rule, right? 20% of something leads to 80% of something else. And classically, what we say in business, 20% of our customers give us 80% of our volume or our revenue. That's good. But what I like better is 20% of our customers that give us 80% of our profit. All right? Didn't take me long in business to realize there's a big difference between gross and net. So 20% of your customers that give you 80% of your profit. So what we want to do is target our loyal customers. So we want to study our customers and find new prospects. In this whole prospecting, remember I said we're going to look for A prospects? Find prospects who fit the profile of our top 20%. Now, this is going to be a little radical, the next bullet point. Change your relationship with customers who cost more to handle than they're worth. The moaners, complainers, money losers. How many of you have at least one customer you wish you didn't have? And it seems like the customers that complain the most, who grind us down for low prices, seem to take up so much time and effort, don't they? Than the people who pay full price and appreciate the value that we give to them. So, now once you have a prospect, now whether the prospect is a prospect that you're actually prospecting, let's say a cold call, or a prospect can even be a referral. It's just somebody you're calling on. How do you open the conversation with a prospect? Some people have their elevator pitch. I call it a competitive advantage statement. It has 4 parts, and I tell you the first 2 parts are gimmies. All right? Your name and your company. Easy. Hopefully you don't mess that one up. Now, this third step is a typical problem experienced by the market that you're calling on. Some people have different products and they go after different markets. Some people have different niche markets that they're calling on. So a typical problem experienced by your market. And then the 4th step is an intriguing statement about how you can help. The purpose of this is to simply get the person at the end to say something like, how does that work? Or explain that to me. Just something that opens the door for you to do some needs analysis and explain how you can help them solve that problem. Let me give you a couple of examples. I had, in some of my programs, I had different people actually work on this exercise in the program itself. So the first person I had was this woman who sold a product to what I consider to be probably the toughest target market. Doctors. And I said to this group, I said, okay, and it was a public seminar, so it had people from all different walks of life and sold all different kinds of products in different industries. And I said, I want to volunteer, and I want you to realize that you may be embarrassed by this exercise, so do not raise your hand and volunteer if you embarrass easily. And I had several people raise their hands, and this one woman, her name was Marlene, volunteered. And I said, okay, let's make believe I'm a doctor, and somehow you get me on the telephone. What would you say to me to kind of get me to see you or grant you an appointment? So she said what she would say, and I said to the rest of the group, and it was probably about 1,000 people, I said to the rest of the group, how many of you, if Marlene said that to you and you were the doctor, how many of you would grant her an appointment? Not only did nobody raise their hands, but they avoided eye contact. It was that bad. So what I did is I gave everybody in the audience 15 minutes to work on this exercise. Just 15. Imagine if they had more time. 15 minutes, but I asked the 2 people on either side of Marlene to help her with her competitive advantage statement. And this is what she came up with in 15 minutes. Now I want you to just visualize if you were a doctor, as busy as you are, as little time as you have to see sales reps who want to call on you. What if you heard this? I just want to know afterwards how many people would actually grant her an appointment. Here we go. So, my name is Marlene, and I work for a company called the Prescription for Doctors. Here's the typical problem. Physicians today are being pressured by insurers, employers, and patients to cut healthcare costs, yet their overhead costs are constantly rising. How many of you believe that a doctor would say amen to that? This is the kind of thing, it's a general statement, a problem that they experience that they say, yes. All right, so here was her intriguing statement about how she can help. And remember, she's not doing a presentation here. It's just something to get the person to say, tell me more. We provide a service that allows the physician to spend more time with patients and cut overhead costs at the same time, resulting in better quality care at a lower cost. How many of you, if you were a doctor, would want to find out what that is? Anybody? This is what I'm talking about. How many of you are in the market for a car? Anybody? All right, we have some people in the market for a car. How many of you like car salespeople to call you? What if you had a car salesperson call you and say this? Because this was another person in another program. My name is Mike, and I work for Competitive Motors. We've found that there's a lot of confusion in the automotive market today because there's been over 150 new models introduced in just the past 3 years. Whew. Amen. We've developed a computer program that profiles everything the buyer wants in a car, and in less than 5 minutes identifies the models most likely to fit their needs. If you were in the market for a car, would you want to try out this computer program? How many of you would want to? How many of you, even if you're not in the market, would like to do this to see if you bought the right car? It's a very powerful process. And I believe that every business that has salespeople who are calling on customers, whether it's prospects or referrals, need to have their sales reps do this for every niche market that they call on, and to do it in groups of 2 or 3 so people can brainstorm. So remember, 4 steps: your name, your company, a typical problem experienced by your target market, and an intriguing statement about how you can help. This is something that should be done ideally quarterly, people working on it, but at the longest period of time, yearly. It's a very powerful way to give people confidence when they are actually calling on a prospect.